Call the meeting to order. We'll all stand, display, put your hands over your heart.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sonia, roll call, please.
Yep. Commissioner Shaw,
Here.
Commissioner Dippel,
Here.
Commissioner Meyer,
Here.
Commissioner Corbin,
Here.
Mayor Denner.
Here. We have the agenda in front of us. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
Any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nothing under appearances, and we'll move down. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. We have nothing under unfinished business. We'll move into new business. Item number one. Ryan, did you want to bring us up to speed on authorize the mayor to sign letter of contract, West Avenue sanitary sewer improvement?
Certainly. This letter of contract is a proposal by Banner and Associates to provide engineering services in the amount of $46,900. This is to prepare final plans and specifications, provide construction phase engineering and construction staking services for a sanitary sewer improvement project on West Avenue between Northwest 6th Street and Northwest 7th Street. So a little background, when Banner and Associates did the Northwest Sanitary Sewer Study a while back, there were some findings in that report that provided some positive feedback about being able to serve the area west of Highway 81 in the future. They had identified that there should be an upgrade of pipe sizing to 12 inches on 2 blocks on the RD project. Those blocks on the RD are between 8th Street and 7th Street on Olive Avenue, and the other was on 7th Street from Olive Avenue to West Avenue. What they also identified that was needed that was not part of the RD project is this block that the proposal covers. So we need this block in order to go back the additional distance in part to get adequate grade for the 12-inch, to have enough depth as we head north and west to get up to 81. Since this was never part of the RD project, it's of course wasn't a matter of upgrading the pipe sizes as with the other 2 blocks. And so it has to be its own standalone project. Because this project is downstream of the RD blocks, the 1 block project not only has to be installed so the RD blocks can be installed, but it has to happen first. So this proposal will allow us to have that project completed prior to the continuation of the sanitary sewer work on the phase 1B RD project.
Thank you, Ryan. Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign letter of contract, West Avenue sanitary sewer improvement?
Second.
I did have one question for Ryan. Ryan, is this just taking out the smaller pipe, putting in new pipe? Are we gonna do anything with services? Are we gonna take the services into the boulevard? Means we're gonna put down new roads there?
Yeah, so we'll go from the new main all the way out to the boulevard with services. So they'll go all the way out, past the surfacing, past the curb and gutter into the boulevard.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments or discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Item number 2, COVID-19 update and discussion.
We placed this on the agenda. We expect to have this on the agenda for the next couple of weeks, just knowing that we are in a surge right now with the Omicron variant. As we want to make sure that there's opportunity for the commission to alter any policies and procedures if needed on a quicker basis than the normal. I don't know if we have any changes from the last time we adopted it 2 weeks ago. Kristen is on. Kristen, would you have anything to add?
I don't know.
Are there any questions from the commission about policy procedures?
Did not, I looked at it last week when I asked you to send it to me. And I read through it, and it looked good.
At this point, we've, like every employer, have had cases coming through employees and through the community certainly, but we aren't anticipating any changes that are needed at this time. We'll reevaluate it and report back in a week.
Do we have a lot of employees out now, or?
I don't have a number right now, because it changes every day, but I don't know. Kristen, would you have a statement on number of cases we've had, or I don't know how deep we want to get into that?
I would just add that we've had a lot of close contacts and seen an influx in the last week or two, definitely, but continuing to monitor and taking those safety measures that we need to.
So in the close contact though, it's just, you can still come to work just with a mask, is that right?
It depends on how recently you've been vaccinated or boosted, whether you're an essential employee or not. Or actually, I guess it doesn't matter whether it's essential or not, but if it's just a close contact, you can continue to come to work. Right, Kristen? Mask up for the first
Right.
5 days and then test, and go from there.
Assuming you don't have symptoms.
Right.
Correct. Any other questions? Okay. We'll reevaluate, come back in a week.
Item number 3, Kristen, you want to bring us up to speed on the adopt resolution number 2022-03, amend establish employee compensation for 2022.
This is just Jameson and I, when we brought the new resolution forward, it was approved of it as a human resources assistant. And after further discussion of duties and what this person would be expected to do, it's been the position has been changed to human resource specialist, with this person not assisting in everything, but more coordinating and actually being responsible for a lot of the duties in relations to benefits, billing, reconciling them benefits, workers' comp, and a few other areas. And also would assist human resources in areas as needed with various different things throughout the course of the day.
The current employee compensation resolution was approved last November, and we had 2 new positions in there. One was this position within HR, and another was an assistant in the engineering department. At that time, we had said that we knew both positions were needed, so we wanted to put them in the resolution. But we'd follow back with the commission once we knew more details to collect feedback and to just get the approval to keep moving forward. So at this time, we're doing that for this position. We expect to be doing the same thing with the engineering assistant in the near future. I believe the job description was shared with the commission earlier today. If you have any questions or feedback, you can certainly pass it along to us now or at a later time. But with the approval of this title change in the resolution, we'd be looking at moving forward with hiring that position as soon as possible.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2022-03, amend establish employee compensation for 2022?
So we'll,
Second.
Kristen, got one question for you. Do we have to wait 20 days before we can advertise this?
I can maybe touch on that. My intent would be to try to move sooner than that. Should we have it referred to a vote, we're not gonna have anybody hired by that time. So I personally don't see any issue with moving forward with advertising and having a selection process start, knowing that it wouldn't be completed anyway. Kristen, would you disagree?
I would say as soon as we can, that would be greatly appreciated.
Any other comment, discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item number 4. Discuss and take action on City of Madison Reserve Policy.
So I've started this process last fall and then finally have gotten back to it. The policy that I sent out on Friday, we've had some revisions to since then. My intent is really just to make sure we have those cash reserves or cash balances necessary to meet our operating expenses, our payroll, our utilities, or the things that we have to keep the offices open. Should we have a shortfall, if the state would close down for 2 months and we wouldn't receive tax revenue, how long would we need to operate with what we have in our reserves or in the bank account? So that was my intent with bringing about this policy. After discussions with Brad today and Jameson today, we have taken the water and sewer out of that with the intent of bringing you separate resolutions for those. After discussion with Brad, there are some items in the electric resolution that we currently have that we would like to see added to the water and sewer that have more project related reserve requirements for, we don't have a lot of projects necessarily in the solid waste in those areas, but within those with water and sewer is a lot more like electrical. We might have some big projects that are sitting out there that once we're contracted to do those activities, then we need to make sure that we have cash reserves for those as well. So I would expect to see those resolutions in the next week or two for those 2 items. So those are were taken out. If you look in here, items in yellow are the edits that I made. Items that are have a line drawn through them are the items that I removed. On the front page, it refers to appropriations. We kind of cleaned that up to base it on operating revenue, and operating revenue is like the general fund would be your sales tax, your property tax, those things that come in as part of your operating budget, not grants that you receive, not transfers in, not any new debt that we take on. So it's what we would operate with in a regular year, not as opposed to stuff that we get from other outside sources. So that we changed that to operating revenue, which is more in line with what the electric, it looks at revenues as opposed to expenditures. So I did the same thing on the working capital for the solid waste operating fund as well. Like we looked at that, keeping 30% of revenues in there. And then we would look to do something very similar with water sewer when we finalize those. It also refers to the maintenance and repair reserves that we're legally obligated to maintain by state law for the community center, and we've discussed that before. The other major thing that I changed in there is in item E, which refers to the debt service funds. And I had 10% of total outstanding debt in there. And generally, when you're looking at a 20-year loan, that's not such a big amount. But when you're looking at some of our RD ones that go out 40 years, those are some substantial loans, and we're not going to be required to pay anywhere near 10% of that back in any given year. So that's in high. So I did remove that. Most of those have their own reserve requirements that if they would be higher than the 1 year capital, use whichever is larger. But so it just, I removed A and it's just B and C. It would either be 1 year's capital or whatever is established by that debt instrument. This is my recommendation. If you want to see something different than that, that's certainly your prerogative. When I look at it, if I were a business, I would want 6 months operating capital in there to feel comfortable and safe. But you could easily argue that our revenue sources are a lot more stable than a business down the street. So I don't know that we need 6 months operating capital in there.
Very action.
This is pretty common to other.
Yeah, I took this, started with what Spearfish uses for theirs, and then went through and edited it. They obviously don't have a community center maintenance reserve. The permanent funds would be something more like the Jerry Maloney Park. When somebody donates something to us and it's literally held in trust, whatever that document says is how we would have to restrict those funds. So I met with David last week and had him review this, and that was a clean way to handle whatever those requirements are based on those contracts.
I'll make a motion to approve the city of Madison reserve policy.
What are we actually turning this into?
It'd be on our books as a policy.
Yes,
It's a policy?
Yeah.
I would, over the next couple weeks, would like, I'm looking to do ones as well for purchasing policies, just so that we kind of have a standard of how we handle things moving forward. And
Operating procedures, correct?
yes, standard operating procedures.
Do we have a book of that?
We're working on it. It's a very big work in progress.
But every step, or every turn starts with the first
Right,
step, and this is the first
One
step.
policy
So
at a time.
prove your goal to get it in place and then eventually come back around to your standard
Sure.
operating and then just run it back through and double check. So it's more of an internal control.
It is.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. And is there any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Public comment? I don't believe we have any unless Gary has something. Okay, announcements?
Just the same announcement that was on for last week, notice of vacancy, they can pick up applicant or petitions on Friday and start Friday the 28th and start circulating them. Have to be turned back in Friday, February 25th for the Bayers vacancy.
Is there any other announcements? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried. Have a nice evening.